Hello, and welcome to episode 15 of the HamCorp Training Manual. In this episode, we will set up benzene production, oxygen production, as well as polyethylene production. We will also construct a new building to house chemical processes. Welcome back. I have just finished making an extension to the power building. This is where I'm going to house the advanced coke oven and also some more machines. So I've made all of the machines that I need immediately following the coke oven. But we'll come back to that. So let's go collect the coke oven. It should be done now. Let's give this thing a test run and see how fast it actually is. Very fast. Very, very, very fast. So next, from the charcoal, we make wood tar. And that's done in a fluid extractor. I made 2 LV fluid extractors, and that is fast enough to keep up with one and a little bit of these advanced coke ovens. I got an advanced steam turbine, which is the MV steam turbine, and a transformer. And I got an advanced steam turbine because we're also going to need to power an MV machine in the next step. By default, transformers are step down, which is what we want. And here we can set up the fluid extractors. I'm going to place them here. This one's being fed directly from the transformer. This one has a cable. This didn't need to be a 4x cable. I don't know why I brought a 4x cable. Anyway, so the charcoal we need to route from the coke oven to these fluid extractors. And this gives us wood tar. I have a tin item pipe coming from the wood drawer over there, feeding the coke oven. So here's a nifty little trick, actually. I don't need to branch off of this line. Instead, I'm just having the advanced coke oven feed the advanced coke oven. So I don't know that if we run out of wood, for example, I don't know that it won't put charcoal in the top slot. The fluid extractors are going to make ashes as a byproduct. I'm not sure what I want to do with ashes for now. For right now, I'm just going to take them out and see what I can do with it. And if it's trash, I'll just attach some trash cans to the back. The next step is we send the wood tar through an advanced distillery to get benzene. This is an MV recipe, which means we have to use an MV distillery. However, it's not 1 full amp of MV. It's half an amp of MV. So that's why we only need 1 steam turbine to power everything. I brought some pipes to automatically transport into the distillery. And now we're making benzene. I have done some math, and the amount of benzene per tick that this produces is enough to power a little bit more than 4 basic gas turbines and 4 advanced gas turbines. Not enough for another whole turbine, but I will be creating a backlog of benzene if I only use these 8 turbines. So in total I get 4 amps of MV plus 4 amps of LV, or 5 amps of MV. So that's pretty nice. That's like 2.5 times what we make now. Oh, so much quieter. Now that we have some extra power, we can start doing some things. I did make this poly-Si silicon solar grade dust off camera because I needed it to make a bunch of circuits that I made. So I saved the nice way to make this to put on camera. That's probably going to be in the near future. But besides that, I want to make polyethylene, which I've done the quests here, but I just batch crafted some polyethylene. It's not automated. I want to make an automated polyethylene setup. I want to make an automated silicon poly-Si setup. And I want to make some sodium persulfate for the quest and iron 3 chloride in an automated way, because I think I want to use the iron 3 chloride more than I want to use sodium persulfate. Once we have those things automated, we can start working towards the first HV circuits. Once we get the first HV circuits, we can make the next tier of circuit assembler, and we can also make these MV energy hatches. I guess we could make those without the circuit, but in any case, with those 2 things combined, plus stainless steel, we can enter HV. And that's the main goal right now. Let's get started on automating some polyethylene. Alright, I've done some planning. So for the polyethylene, we need two things. We need ethylene, which I'm going to get from wood gas, distilling wood gas. And wood gas I'm going to get from a pyrolyzed oven, just putting in wood. And you can get charcoal and wood gas. That charcoal is going to supplement these coke ovens. I'm not going to replace these just yet. But I'm going to build out a little extension over here and put the pyrolyzed oven in there. And the other thing we need is oxygen. Oxygen I'm going to get from electrolyzing sugar. And sugar I'm going to get from sugar beet. And sugar beet, I think I have in the farm. I also need to put together the pyrolyzed oven. And the pyrolyzed oven is a pretty large multi-block. It needs a bunch of coils, and it also needs pyrolyzed oven casings, and these are quite expensive. Needs iron, steel, and bronze, and a lot of it. So I'm going to be doing this for quite a while, and I'll see you once I have all of the materials needed to put together something. Maybe it's going to be just the farm, maybe it's going to be the whole thing. I don't know. We'll see. What the fuck? I just got struck by lightning. While I was preparing all of the items I needed, I put together a second greenhouse. This is going to house the reed farm, or sugarcane farm. This of course needs a steam turbine. Remember not to use growth 24 or above. Okay, I have connected the crop manager to this drawer. So here I'm going to connect a chassis and put a provider module inside. This makes the logistics system able to provide what's in the connected inventory. And now I'm going to hope that I have enough unrouted transport pipe to make it all the way back. Now if I move this pipe, I need one more unrouted pipe. I have a basic pipe. You know what? I'm actually going to put that at the bottom, because I'm going to have a branch right here. So actually, this being a basic pipe is fine. Oh, I just remembered. We might actually need to have more basic pipes along the way, because I don't think the power goes through these pipes that far. You basically need to have a basic pipe or a chassis pipe or something every so often to be able to transport the logistics pipe's power through the unrouted pipes. Okay. It has been connected. It's very, very spaghetti right now. However, we cannot see the sugarcane. And I think that is because of the power not reaching all the way. Okay. You can see that it works because there's a green dot on this side. That means it's connected to that side. And here there's a red dot, which means it's not connected to anything on this side. Surely one right here. Oh. Okay, so this connected to the chassis, but not to the rest of the system. There we go. All done. Now, we should be able to see the sugarcane on the request table. And we can indeed. So all of the sugarcane is from that one drawer in the farm. And now we can request it, and it will send the sugarcane through the pipes in the maintenance tunnels all the way here. But this isn't where we want to send it. I need to make sugar, for which I need to macerate the sugarcane. I haven't made a basic macerator yet. There's also a quest for that. Ooh, flat lamps. I like flat lamps. They look so much better than torches. Oh, so much better. I'm gonna work on this between episodes, make this place look nicer. So originally I was planning on putting this polyethylene and oxygen thing upstairs over here. I made a little area here. And I was originally planning on putting it there, but this is the power building, and we're not making power with polyethylene. So I think it's time to build a new chemicals plant. Question is, where to put it? And transporting power around the base is not really an issue anymore, now that we have logistics pipes. We can just use these fluid transport pipes to transport benzene around, and then put it in gas turbines. But anyway, so for the chemicals plant, I thought about just putting it here, where the portal is. I'll have to move the portal, but that's fine. Because then we can have like a little window kind of area looking over the river. And also maybe some toxic waste can spill into the river. Just kidding, we don't do that at HamCorp. Welcome to the new chemicals plant. I think I might have overdone it with the flat lamps a little bit. They look a little weird, but I do need to have this place lit up. I added a downstairs section for no real reason, just to give the building some shape, pretty much. I built the maintenance tunnel. This connects with the rest. Over there, the tunnel goes up and meets with the power building. From the outside, I think the building looks a little flat, a little plain. Like there's not really much variation on the outside except for the shape. But I'm leaving that for the future because I know that in the future I'm going to have some better, more colorful blocks that I can use to accent these with, but I don't have access to them yet because I need unstable ingots. Also, I'm pretty much out of bit. Remember when I made 4,000? Yeah, it's all gone. I'm also out of unrouted transport pipes, and I know I'm gonna need more, so I'm gonna spend a bunch of time making some transport pipes, maybe some basic pipes as well. And I'm also gonna make a couple of these fluid pipes, whatever fluid pipes I need. And yeah, after that we can put together the oxygen setup, and then I can also talk about the pyrolyze oven and my plans for that. I've gathered a bunch of different materials. First of all, I have to power all of this, and to do that, we're going to use benzene. My plan is to use the steam that we make from this whole setup to make benzene, and then the benzene we're going to transport around the base. So I have crafted up a super tank, which stores 4,000 buckets of fluid, and I'm going to use that here. I'm going to lock the fluid so only benzene can go in. And I'm going to use the logistics fluid provider pipe to provide the logistics pipe system with benzene. It's a little buggy right now. When I have it selected, my whole interface flickers, and I don't know what to do about that, so sorry. Okay, the benzene is connected. So now, using a fluid supplier pipe, which pulls fluids from a fluid provider pipe, we can supply benzene around the base. I have this low voltage fluid tank. This is full of benzene already. This is going to be where the benzene goes. I think to demonstrate, I'm just going to take out some benzene, and then we can place this fluid supplier here, right click it with a wrench, and then you can just drag a ghost benzene cell into this. You can change the minimum mode. This is basically the minimum amount that it's going to transport. I think it's better to have a larger number than 0, just because if it's 0, it's just going to constantly make requests. So we actually want this to be, honestly, 5 buckets is probably fine. So now we set the amount of fluid we want to keep stocked. I think this is in liters or millibuckets, so I want this to be 64 buckets. And here comes the benzene. Just like that. Another batch. Fills it up. Very nice. And then this tank will be the buffer for this building. And I'll use GregTech pipes to pipe it around the building. So I've set up the oxygen system. And the way this works is benzene is supplied here. Benzene powers the gas turbine powers this advanced electrolyzer and this transformer, which in turn powers the macerator. The macerator receives, using an active supplier module, it receives sugarcane. This gets crushed into sugar. The auto output is sent into the electrolyzer. The electrolyzer electrolyzes the sugar. It also needs empty cells as an input, and it gives you 25 oxygen cells as an output. So the way we're going to recycle these cells is we have two conveyor modules with input allowed facing each other on this side, on these two sides. And so the oxygen cells get conveyor moduled into the super tank, where it then empties the oxygen into the tank and returns empty cells. And then the empty cells get conveyed back into the electrolyzer. This recipe also makes water as a byproduct, and that is just being pumped into a trash can. And at the back, which is where the auto output of the electrolyzer is facing, we have a locked drawer for carbon dust, which is the other byproduct. It also has a void upgrade on it, so that when this is full, it doesn't stop producing oxygen. It will only stop producing oxygen when the super tank is full. Super tank is also connected to the logistics pipes network with this provider pipe. So yeah. The only issue I could see with this is it is possible for the conveyor module to convey the carbon dust into the super tank. And that's not ideal, because then it's just going to sit in this input slot and not do anything. Does it even go in? Yeah, it would go in. So yeah, that could clog this, and it is possible to deal with that with some filtering, but I think it's just unlikely because of how bad these conveyor modules are. It's only like once every 20 seconds. It's far more likely that it'll just auto output it to the back before it can get sucked into the super tank. So yeah, so oxygen is done. So for the other part of this, we need ethylene. And for ethylene, we need wood gas. And for wood gas, we actually need this pyrolyze oven. So I made this little space to house the pyrolyze oven. Ah, terrible. I have to replace this. I have to open this up to the sky for the muffler hatch. Ah, I hate doing that. Also, the input bus needs to go here. I might just raise this roof a little bit then. Okay, here's the pyrolyze oven. Has some maintenance issues, and also some figuring out how to supply this thing issues, but I'm gonna deal with that. To power this thing, I got this 2X redstone alloy cable. This is the superconductor for LV, because this wood gas recipe is an MV recipe, but we can do it with 2 amps of LV, as long as there's no loss at all. So this is going to cost 64 EU per tick, which is why I have a lossless cable here, and 2 steam turbines. I'm going to use steam here instead of benzene because, I mean, we're in the steam building, so it's not too hard to get steam here. Okay, pyrolyze oven is now on. Doesn't have any inputs, doesn't have any power, but it's on. So for the inputs, we need wood and a program circuit of 5. And the wood, we're just going to get from right here, actually. Very convenient. Conveniently located. The wood has gone in. It is now making wood gas and charcoal. The charcoal is technically a byproduct here. So we do want to void that. If this output bus ever gets full of charcoal, we want to still make wood gas. So we're going to set this on voiding items. And then this charcoal, we're going to pipe straight to the drawer. This should help the coke ovens with producing enough charcoal. And as for the wood gas here, the wood gas is going to go into this low voltage fluid tank. And then this low voltage fluid tank is going to be a provider of wood gas. The wood gas needs to be distilled into ethylene in a MV distillery. So that means we need at least MV power, so I brought this advanced gas turbine. We're just going to connect this to this benzene pipe. And I'm going to do basically the exact same setup as here. Distillery here, and we're going to supply wood gas. So that will give us ethylene. The ethylene needs to go into a chemical reactor with oxygen. However, it needs to go in as an item cell. So we need a fluid tank in between. This one has polyethylene in it, so I need to go get another one. I'm going to place this low voltage fluid tank. Be very careful with the low voltage fluid tank, because if it connects to this copper cable, it's going to explode. Even though it doesn't use power, it's still a low voltage machine in some sense, so just be careful to not connect this. As long as it's not touching, we're good. So the ethylene is going to get produced here, get put into this. These empty cells are going to fill up, and it's going to be conveyor moduled into this chemical reactor. The chemical reactor is going to make polyethylene. It needs oxygen as well, so we need to supply this thing with oxygen. So I'm just going to use this fluid supplier. I'm going to set the output to face the fluid tank again. So now what's going to happen is these will fill up with ethylene, get put into the chemical reactor, and the chemical reactor is going to spit out the empty cells back into the fluid tank. However, we need to configure the conveyor module, and we need to configure the output slot of this. You can't just shift right click it to do that. For this you need a screwdriver. And if you right click the output face, which you can do by hovering over the side like this, right click without holding shift, it will allow input from output side. So now this is going to make a bunch of ethylene. I'm going to fluid auto output into here. This fills up with ethylene. Ethylene's going to go in here, and it's going to make polyethylene. And finally, that polyethylene is going to get pumped into this low voltage fluid tank. And that is polyethylene fully automated. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will continue improving our chemistry infrastructure by automating iron 3 chloride and silicon solar grade dust, with the goal of inventing high voltage circuits. If you would like to have a say in how HamCorp progresses, come join the HamCorp Discord and make your votes count. See you next time.